Right. How do you hide this? All right, so we'll get started now. This is the fourth workshop, but the second SolidWorks workshop. So if you were here 2 weeks ago, we went over some basics. We added a little battery. In this workshop, we're going to go over another part. So we're going to make this motor right here. I figure we only really have time for this. I'll show you how to make this 2 different ways. So that'll be kind of interesting. For people who are ahead, since a lot of people I think were kind of bored last time, I included a second part that you guys can follow along with. I was going to send this in the Discord before the meeting. But yeah, I'll send this in the Discord. You guys can like open this on your phone or like on the second monitor, I guess. And then if you end up waiting around a lot, you guys can try your hand at the second part. Right, and I did forget to mention this last week, but we're actually going to be kind of building up to kind of like this full robot assembly. So I'll pull that up real quick to show you guys. I don't think I'll have you guys CAD every single part in this for the sake of time. We'll hit some interesting ones like the battery or like the motor or the weapon. But next workshop I'll probably be giving you the extra parts you're missing. And then we'll be assembling all these parts together in an assembly. So here's like the motor, here's the little battery that we CAD'd last time. I'll give you guys like the parts for kind of like the walls and the chassis and also the wheels. We'll basically follow along and put this whole thing together. Just hide this real quick. Okay. And so we're going to get started with making this motor. So the first way we're going to do it is just using basically a lot of extrudes and a lot of sketches. So last time we talked about basically drawing sketches, extruding them into 3D profiles, and then turning that into like solids, and you can like stack multiple on top of each other. So if we take a look at this part, we see that we can kind of do something similar. We could extrude like the whole like hand of the motor as like one part, then like do the shaft, and then like add some little kind of like holes in there. So we're gonna start doing it like that, and then I'll show you guys another way to do it using a revolve feature. So if you open up SolidWorks, go to File, hit New, and we'll make a new part for this. All right, I'll give everybody a couple seconds to do that. And again, when you're doing this, we're going to be CADing everything in millimeters. So at the bottom right, check your units, make sure they're set to millimeters, grams, seconds. I think the very first time when it gives you like kind of a pop-up and asks for units, it'll set like a default unit. So you want to just make sure, I guess for the purposes of these exercises, you're always using millimeters in case you accidentally set your default to like inches. And here we have the sort of like blank window. We don't have anything yet, so we're going to create a sketch. So in the top left, hit the sketch icon. And we're going to choose the front plane. All right, and so once you're kind of on this front plane, we're going to create just a circle. The circle is going to be kind of like the main body of the motor. So if we refer back to this motor drawing, we see here from this cross-section view, this dimension right here, the motor has like a sort of outer diameter of 32 millimeters. So we're going to CAD that first. We're just going to draw a 32 millimeter circle. Drag this out. And then, this keeps showing up. I'll just stick that there. Draw this 32 millimeter circle, and then you'll hit Smart Dimension. Click the circle, your mouse out somewhere where it's convenient. And then if you click again, it'll drop the dimension down. And then you'll be able to enter in a number. and just type in 32 and hit enter. Now we have a 32 millimeter circle centered on the origin. From start by chart even from. So we will need to go to sketch.
If you guys have any questions, you can raise your hand, and then me here.
So you want to click on. You want to, I guess you can, set this like that little icon. Then you can click the smart dimension. And then you can click on. Or I guess like the okay. Yep, and just hit enter. And if you want to like exit the dimension tool, right now it's still highlighted. Is everyone good with that? It would be good practice to center it on the origin, because otherwise, let's say if you draw, if I delete this circle, I draw it somewhere else, I dimension it to 32 millimeters. The circle is just kind of floating, so I can drag it around wherever I want. So for simple sketches like this, it might not matter, but when you do like more complicated sketches, you have more components in them. It's generally a good idea to have all your geometry fully constrained so it doesn't move around, which means you've kind of like specified exactly where everything should be. So basically SolidWorks will tell you it's not fully constrained if this is blue. So notice when you drag it over to the origin, there's like a little coincident icon right there that shows up. That basically means the center of the circle is now like constrained to the origin. And now the circle turns black, which means it's like completely fixed. All right. Okay, so once you're done with this, we can hit exit sketch. This is all we'll be doing in the sketch. And then we'll need to extrude this out by 35 millimeters, which is sort of the length of this motor body. So if you remember from last session, what we can do is go to features, and then hit extruded boss / base. And then might have the sketch selected by default, but if you don't have it selected already, you can just sort of mouse over the sketch and click it. And then it should show you sort of like a preview of what's happening here. And then you can type in 32 millimeters right there and hit enter. So I'll go over that again real quick. If you hit extrude and it asks you to kind of like select the sketch, you can select the outer profile of the sketch, like right here, like that, just click it. And then it'll ask you how far you want to sort of like drag it out. We want to pull it out 32 millimeters like that. And then that's good. So we'll hit OK. All right. Or actually, sorry, 35 millimeters. So if you accidentally press 32, you can right click on your extrude, click edit feature, and then hit 35 millimeters. All right. And give you all a little bit of time to do that. You wanna turn it off? I think it's like it's just a graphical. All right. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna extrude the this motor shaft out. So if we look at the sort of side profile here in the cross section, we see this is an 8 millimeter diameter shaft. So we're gonna draw basically just a circle on the face of this cylinder. We're gonna start a sketch. So we'll go to sketch and then create a new sketch on the face of this motor. And then you'll see here, we have kind of like a origin right here in the center. If you want to reorient yourself to face the face of the sketch, you can hit space and then click on the view cube to reorient yourself like this. And then we'll draw here a 8 millimeter diameter shape. Hit exit sketch. And then we go back to the motor drawing. We see that the motor shaft is 19 millimeters long. So we're going to extrude the motor shaft to 19 millimeters. So we do the same thing as before, essentially, and we're just going to hit OK. So you're just making a new part right now. So look at sketch, and then you want to reorient yourself. You look at you want to let you like select a face. So if you pass over to input, you can get like over the part down. So you will hit sketch in the top left. So now you have all these settings at the top. Yeah. Can you repeat what the diameter? Yeah, I think diameter is 8 millimeters, length. 19. Yeah, 19. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. So this is the initial sketch, right? It's supposed to be 35. Yeah. Okay, so I think you can switch your units in the bottom. And then switch to so now go back to that, hit edit, top left of that document. Right, you want to dimension your biggest circle to 30 millimeters. You want to like actually have because now like actually have that's just what so you don't need extra. So hit the X. We're still editing the sketch, it looks like. So if you go to the sketch menu, you can click on one of the circles and delete them. So we're only going to be concerned about for this feature, we're only going to do yeah, you don't have a dimension, so you can your circle's not so you can or it's not really dimension. So we can have something go back to you already like editing this so you can go to smart dimension in the top one. Click on the circle. So I think click somewhere else. And then hit the check mark. And then hit exit sketch. Make sure this has the 35 millimeters. And I will make another sketch on the face. Make it oh yeah, so just click on and then you can hit the space. And then you can click on one, click on the face one. You don't need to hold it down. Just press it once. And now you can start at the origin. So now we're very center. Move down a little bit. Hit disable. Yeah, so this is actually also. So whenever I recommend you just don't mess it down. What you can do is go to smart dimension and then click on when you do it the other way, it doesn't actually show the dimension. It's like size it like graphically, but the actual size is like undeffined. So now you can extrude it. So press down on the mouse button. I want to rotate around to get a better view of it. Okay, on the to your middle mouse, press down on it, and then move the mouse. Yeah, so right, extrude or edit, yeah. And then you can put in the right one, which is 19 millimeters. Okay. Shop. 8 millimeters. 8? Yeah. Okay. So I'll move on for now. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to add these or sort of add this little like sort of recession around the motor shaft. You see it's a little hard to tell, but around the shaft, there's like a little circular indent around it. So this is like mostly cosmetic. A lot of times when you have like a motor, they'll have like a little hole here for a bearing or something. So this would kind of represent that. I forgot to dimension this out in the drawing, but the diameter of this hole, this divot, would be 10 millimeters, and let's just cut it into the part like about 2 millimeters. The exact dimension doesn't matter too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to start another sketch. So if you hit sketch here, then go back to this sketch button. It'll ask you to select a face to start a sketch on. We'll select this face right here. And then if we want to reorient ourselves to kind of look straight on, we can hit space just once and then click on this this face right here. We're looking straight at it. So we're going to create a 10 millimeter circle. And so that's representing sort of the, if we go back to this drawing, that's representing sort of the outer diameter of this little like divot in here for the bearing. And then what we're gonna do is, since we don't want to cut away this entire region, we're going to do a projection of the motor shaft instead of creating like another circle. So what you can do is go up to the top, select this convert entities button, and we're going to select this face right here. And then you'll hit OK. And now you have two circles. Basically what that did was the face that we selected, it sort of projected that face onto our sketch. So now this edge, the circular edge, shows up as part of the sketch. So you can use this to kind of like copy in like model geometry into your sketch. So if you added like something else, you can hit project and then it'll bring it into your sketch so you can reuse that. Okay. So I'll come around, help a little bit. Oh yeah, so for anyone who missed the missed what happened there, what we did essentially was we went to the top over here where there's this convert entities button. Click that. And then we'll select this face right here. Now you see that face shows up on the left. It's converting this face. And then if you hit this check mark, okay, then it basically takes the circular edge of that face and puts it like onto the sketch. So now this sketch has like two entities, this like circular edge and this sort of outer circular edge. So basically, like, so in your sketch, usually you have this right now you also have this center circle. So basically, you put this like the edge from the bottom. Yeah, it like projects it. And also the inner. The whole. You project the mortar should be important. Yeah. All right, and then so if you got that down, what we'll do now is we'll exit the sketch, and then we'll extrude. We're going to do an extrude cut this time. So if you need to kind of like cut into geometry that you already have, we'll hit this extrude cut button. So extrude cut, and then we'll hit like one of the edges here. And then in this case, it's actually cutting through like if you just hit this, it's cutting this whole circle into your part. So I'll show you what that looks like. Now you kind of have like a floating motor shaft and this like floating motor. You don't want to do that. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to specify exactly what region we want to extrude cut. So we'll need to delete this. And then we'll select this sort of outer circular region right here. So you see this sort of like a ring shape. That sort of ring shape is what we're going to extrude cut into the part. And we're going to make that a depth of 2 millimeters, like that. And then we'll hit OK. So it should look like this. Go back to I think yeah. And you'll see at the bottom, it shows like you selected contours. You don't want it all automatically select whatever you select initially. You don't want that. You want to the region. Right click on it automatically tree, but you want to like mouse over. They're in the space between and even a little bit. How many this? 2 millimeters. Yeah. I think I forget to specify. And now you see it's trying to something forward. You only want select that article, but you can zoom in. So this region is. Yeah, you want to choose that. All right. Yeah. Now, so go back to your type. Right click and edit. That feature. So see, here selected is this contour, so you see this entire circle and it's like, so you don't want to select that. Select that. So it's not so what you'll do is go here, right click on that, and delete. Now you can mouse over the region and delete. Now that's the right. I think most people have gotten that. So we're gonna move on. We're going to add some chamfers to this part. So you'll notice here we have these kind of I guess like cutaway like edges or like corners. So these are chamfers when you want to make like a 45-degree cut or like whatever angle you want realistically to an edge, you can use a chamfer. So this is pretty similar to a fillet if you were here last time for that. So if you go to the fillet icon and hit the drop down, you can select chamfer. Hit that, and then we're going to put a 2mm chamfer on this edge and this edge. You can see in the drawing, the call out here is for 2 by 2mm chamfer. So we'll go here, hit 2mm, press enter. And then now we'll select this edge. And then you can use your mouse, press down, rotate around, or press down on the middle mouse button. And then rotate around here. You'll select this edge. And then if you're not getting like a preview, you can toggle some of these options. It might be set to like no preview by default. If you set to full preview, it'll show you all the edges you chamfered like this. And then you can just hit OK. And then we're also going to add a half a millimeter chamfer on this edge right here. So this time we're just going to do 0.5mm. Select this edge and hit OK. All right, so I'll come around, help out real quick. Yeah. All right. All right. So I think a lot of people got that. So we'll move on. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add this sort of D profile on the motor shaft. I think I actually forgot to specify exactly the dimensions for this, but I'll just, I don't know, I'll guess and we'll verbally follow along. So we see here it's a depth of 15 millimeters and we're going to cut it 1.5 millimeters or 1 millimeter off the top, probably. So show you guys how to do that real quick. We're going to start a sketch right on the end of the motor right here. That. And then we're going to reorient ourselves to, sorry, give me a second. So create a sketch right on the end of this motor. And then hit space to kind of view normal to it like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to convert this outer edge again. So if you hit this convert entities, you can mouse over this outer edge of the motor shaft, the sort of like second inwards edge. And then if you click on it, you'll see it appear in the left. And then you'll hit this OK button. And now you should have like a solid black line around here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to draw a horizontal line. So we're going to start our mouse somewhere, just somewhere in this region. Make sure your mouse is over the outermost edge of that circle. So what that is doing is making sure one end of the line is on that outermost circle. You'll see near my mouse, there's a sort of yellow symbol. That's the coincident symbol. So again, that means like one of the ends of the line is going to be fixed to that circle. You click on that edge, you drag out horizontally. You'll see now I also have like this little horizontal line icon. That means this line is going to be fixed to be horizontal. And I'll move it all the way out towards the other end of this circle right there. And then I'll click a second time. So now we've got this this edge right here, this circular edge, and also this this line. So now what I should be able to do is put a dimension. Give me a second. I have like a filter selected for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, we're good. So we wanted to dimension this 1 millimeter off of the top. So essentially the distance between this point right at the top of the circle and this this line, we want to sort of cut off the top 1 millimeter of this circular shape. So we're going to put a point right at the top of that circle, right there. So if you click this point button here, and then basically move your mouse, and then should snap to the top center of the circle. You should be able to put a point down there. We're just going to use that as a reference for the dimension. You can do a smart dimension between that point and this line. And we're just going to make that 1 millimeter. Like that. Okay, and then you'll just hit enter. And then I know I did a lot of steps, so I'll stop after this. But what you'll do next is you'll go to trim entities at the top left. And you'll notice here we kind of have like a lot of extra geometry. We don't really need this circular part on the bottom since we only want to cut away this profile at the top. What you can do is hit trim and then sort of click and drag your mouse through the bottom right there. And what that did is it basically cut away that extra geometry. So it cut away this extra circular, like geometry over here that wasn't connected to this line. Got rid of it. And once you're done with that, you can exit the sketch. And if you want, I'll show you guys later, but you'll basically just extrude this in extrude cut 15 millimeters. So I'll go around and help people out right now because that was a lot. Oh, I think you can hit all. The trimming is not like done really short. There are these like guidelines. Like trimming is you can also kind of glue and not. I'm not sure, but okay, so you hit the trim button and you click and drag through what you don't want. console. What happens if you were using like so you start your mouse like right here. Right there. You don't have to drag it like right. You're kind of like getting rid of it. Right, so you're just gonna trim straight through here like that. Just start right here. So it recognizes where that intersection is, and then it'll cut away everything after that intersection. So if you try to be like precise about it, like it'll be really hard. But like SolidWorks will know if you trim that, then it'll trim everything up to that intersection. Nothing yet, so just exit the schedule. I think your sketch is on the back. So if you went through this top path, it would have cut this out and left the bottom. So basically it'll look for where the intersection is and then like it'll like get rid of the part up to like the next intersection. I don't know if that makes any sense. Oh. Oh yeah. Yeah, there are some extra parts. Will be I'll post the recording afterwards.
I just completed them. Connecting AWS or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I know we're running a little over, so if you need to go, or if you don't need to go, scan this participation code real quick. I'll continue this part a little more, just to finish it up. We don't have that much more to do. I think only the holes. So I'll finish it up and then we'll probably be done. Okay. I'll give you all maybe a couple minutes just to fill this out.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, so if you just hit that, like it should, it's exactly like. All right, cool. Okay. All right, I kind of kept you guys for a while, but we'll finish up the part real quick right now. So what we need to do is we need to add these holes, or actually, we need to extrude cut this into the part. So we're just going to select the sketch, or yeah. So okay. Typically, when you do the extrude cut, you'll have to like sort of like select part of the sketch. But what I like to do is click the sketch first and then hit extrude cut. So that'll prevent it from like automatically selecting one of the contours. So it'll, if you do it right, it'll automatically select like the entire sketch, and sort of if you only have one contour in there or one closed shape, it'll select that for you. But if it didn't, you can delete that, and then you sort of zoom in and select what you need. And we'll extrude that in 15 millimeters. Like that, just hit enter. So now it'll cut into the motor shaft like that. And then lastly, what we're gonna do is we're going to add in our holes. So these are special like cap holes. You see here, there's like a huge hole call out. We're not gonna worry about that too much for now. We're just gonna start a sketch on the face of this motor, and we're going to put down points to put the hole, to get the hole locations down. So we'll start a sketch on this face right here, and I'll hit space, hit one of these views to look at the, look in the, I guess the direction of the sketch. And we're just gonna place a point down. Make sure you kind of like hover over the origin and then bring your mouse up vertically. You'll see there's kind of a dotted line. That's good. That means your line is going to be centered exactly like vertical from the origin. And you're just going to plop it down somewhere above it in this region right there. And if we check the drawing again, we see that these holes are on a 20 millimeter circle. So that means that this little point is going to be 10 millimeters up vertically from the origin. All right. And turns out my point wasn't actually constrained vertically. So you'll see it still kind of moves around like that. So if this happens to you, what you can do is just click on the point and then hold down Control, click on the origin, and then say vertical like that. All right, so let's try to do this real quick. So it's actually what you need to do is put on the point. What that does is yeah, not sure. I didn't. That certain cylinder. Well, how I didn't mention it.
It's all one part.
It's just one part. When we assemble. Okay, so if you have this one point, that's good. If you have more than one point, you probably want to delete them because we're going to go over a way to kind of copy this one point around radially. So what we're going to do is we're going to mouse over this sort of linear sketch pattern, go to the right, hit circular sketch pattern, select this circle, or sorry, this point. So you'll see mouse over this, click that. And then here for parameters, for the hole to sort of, or the point to sort of go around, we'll select the origin. It might have already selected it by default, or I think you might actually need to add a point. So you'll add a point like right in the center. And if you hit circular sketch pattern, parameters, choose this. And then for entities to pattern, you can delete whatever is there. And then you'll select this point. Yeah. I don't know. It'll work. If you just go to entities to pattern, hit this point. And then see here, it spaces it basically 10 millimeters out. See, it'll go like, basically what this does is it's sort of like patterns your sketch entities around like a specific point. You can choose exactly how many you want. So I could do like 6. And then it would place like 6 of these points equally around in the circle, or I could do like 10. But for now, we're just going to do 4. And this, you have a bunch of options here. You can do equal spacing. You can have like dimensions for the radius. So we're going to hit this check mark for dimension radius because we'll want a dimension for that. And then we'll hit OK right here. And now we'll have these four points here that we can select. You'll notice like these can kind of move around. These aren't fully constrained. So you can constrain this point right to the center like that. Or yeah, you'll just drag it right to the center. Okay, cool. Yeah, you can just set this line to be exactly vertical, and then it'll kind of align everything for you. All right. Okay. So now finally we'll cover just the last step. After you have these 4 points, you can exit the sketch. And then we'll go back to features. There'll be a hole tool. This hole wizard, you can click on that. And on the left, it'll give you like a ton of options for holes. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go choose a tapped hole. So this is this option right here, the middle left one. So what a tap hole is like a hole with like threads in it for a screw. If you look at the hole call out, this M4X0.7 means we're using a M4 0.7 like pitch tap hole. So if you change your standard to ANSI metric, and then set type to tap hole, you should have a size here called M4 times 0.7. You can choose that. So essentially just make your like options here match what I have. And then you can set a depth through a hole. So you can just type in here. If you look at the hole call out, it's 11.5 millimeters deep. And then the tapping is 8 millimeters deep. So I believe if you just set this from whatever it is initially to like 11.5, and then set this to 8, it should have it configured correctly. So basically have all your options set to this. And then you can go to positions. And then you can select this face. And then you'll be able to mouse over and basically click on all your points. And then you'll hit OK. And then it'll put holes there exactly how you specified. So I'll open up this menu real quick just so you can see what I had. The advantage to doing it this way instead of doing it with like an extrude is if you create a drawing of it, it'll be really easy. SolidWorks will like automatically fill in all the like hole specifications for you. And also if you need like a special type of hole, like we're doing a tap hole, you won't have to go and look up like the tap hole diameter and like stuff like that. This will fill it in all for you. Yeah, so essentially, make sure you have the standard set correctly to ANSI metric. That will be the first thing. I'll set the type to tap hole. Make sure you have this hole selected, the straight tap hole. And you'll need to set the size to M4 by 0.7. So I'll leave that up. Basically, just make sure like your menu matches. So the standard set to ANSI. Oh yeah, you might need to change your end condition as well. So here might be set to like through all by default. This is just going to cut through your entire part. We want like a blind hole. So switch it to blind, and then it'll show you basically the depth. The first depth is like how deep the physical hole is, and then the second depth is how deep like the tap is in the hole. You'll have to add a point. Yeah, and now you can edit that. Yeah, you want to put on the profile. Not the, not that. You only want that part, right? So, I mean, the way you're doing it right now, you're. Yes, I would not do that. Yeah, it would do. You can just go. Work. Now I'm like, look on. Yeah, schedule. I recommend you just create a schedule. Yeah.
The whole time it's been.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's like some.
I think A may have hit.
I think it's.
It is E. No, it's like if you hit E and it's a shoe.
guess I would. Yeah.
Yeah. If you do need calls, you can leave now.
I was in Mexico all the time. Let's go back to where we were. Does that make sense to you now? So if I could go back, and then now. So I still have the sketches around.
Yeah, they should.
All right. Thank you all for coming. That'll be it for today.